Yo, Juice, where's the Q&A?
Juice, where's the Q&A? Yo, Juice, where's the Q&A, bro?
It's here! I know your first question, it's like, Juice, what the hell is up with your hair? Well, I just woke up and I wanted to film this video for you guys, so there. Anyways, guys, make sure you watch this whole video to see if your question got selected, but also I have some questions for you at the end of the video. So, let's get started! First question, what made you want to be a YouTuber? Well, it was a bunch of things, but I think the main thing was I got out of two really bad relationships. No, not at the same time. They were back to back, but they were both really bad. One was for 5 years, and during that 5 years, I kind of lost my creativity in that relationship because like the last 2 years of the relationship were just like But yeah, so I got out of that relationship, did the terrible mistake of jumping into another relationship after that. That relationship ended terribly, and then I was just like, Juice, you need to freaking get out of relationships, stop dating, and focus on yourself. And because I didn't feel like I knew who I was when I got out of those relationships, I wasn't creative anymore when I was at the start of those, and it was just a bunch of stuff. So I was like, what is this YouTube thing? And then on top of that, I've always wanted to be a filmmaker, and I was watching YouTube. A friend of mine at the time showed me like Philip DeFranco and some other YouTubers, and they're like, yeah man, these guys are making careers off of making videos on the internet, and they're going on to do bigger and better things. And I saw one of them actually had started making films after he started doing YouTube, and I was just like, oh, I want to be a filmmaker. I was like, you can do videos on the internet and move over to making real big movies? What? So basically, I decided to do YouTube to find myself again and to continue pushing towards my big goals in life. Next question! This may be hard, but do you prefer The Flash, Arrow, or Gotham? Personally, I love Gotham. Well, Sam, I would have to say that right now I do prefer The Flash because both of the seasons have been pretty good in my opinion. Gotham's first season, which is Batman, is my favorite character, but Gotham's first season was kind of But if they continue doing what they did in Season 2, minus that silly, weird finale, if they keep doing what they did in Season 2 and Season 3, I'm pretty sure by the end of Season 3, Gotham will be my favorite superhero type show. Next question! What is your current favorite show? That would be Game of Thrones right now. Game of Thrones is amazing, although the 6th season just finished. So, you know, if you mean favorite show of all time, though, that would be Doctor Who, because Doctor Who is amazeballs! Next question! Since Barry saved his mom in the season finale, do you think we might get Caitlyn as Killer Frost on Earth 1? No, I don't, because, you know, you gotta remember that Barry changed the past, which of course is going to change the future, and in doing that, he's no longer gonna become the Flash. How did a lot of these metahumans become metahumans? The particle accelerator exploded. You know, there's not gonna be any reason for the particle accelerator to explode because Barthon, who was Harrison Wells at the time that created Barry Allen to become the Flash, or he didn't create Barry Allen, but he created the Flash in Barry Allen, he's not going to need to do that anymore because Barry already saved his mom, so Barry's not going to ever become the Flash again, you know what I'm saying? Basically, what my brain is not allowing me to say is that the particle accelerator would need to explode for Caitlyn to become Killer Frost, and that's not going to happen anymore because Harrison Wells, or I should say Barthon, doesn't need to create the Flash because he already got defeated. There is no Flash, so there's no need for the particle accelerator to explode. Next question. Where did Little Nugget come from? Honestly, I have no idea. I've been using the term Little Nugget for years because I call my dog Cosmo Little Nugget. My brain is like wanting to connect to that Tobuscus video, Nugget and a Biscuit, but I want to say that, you know, before I even watched that video, although that video is hella catchy, that's probably where my brain's all like, that's where it's from. I want to say I've been using Little Nugget for a really long time because I had my dog way before I knew about YouTube. So I was just like, oh yeah, so it's probably, I don't know, it's weird. And plus, I've been eating chicken nuggets my whole life. I have no idea when I started saying Little Nugget, but it's been a long time. I don't really know. Next question. Who is your favorite superhero and supervillain? That one's easy. It's Batman and Joker. Yes, you could tell me, well, technically, they aren't superheroes because they don't have powers. You know what? Just shut up, because I'm not going to go with that. Because one, if you've read a bunch of Batman, you know there have been times that he has acquired powers, whether that be from the freaking lantern rings, or whether it be the freaking, is it Mobius chair, or whatever. There have been a bunch of times that, freaking Batman has got powers, so, you know, a normal man would die getting those kind of powers, but Batman doesn't. So he's motherfucking super! And then the Joker is crazy. I mean, the dude seems like he dies a million times, yet he always comes back. And yeah, I don't know, if you've just ever read any amazing stories that are between the Batman and Joker, it's just so, it's like yin and yang, it's like they are freaking, you know, one half of a whole or some shit like that. You know what I mean? That saying that makes sense that I totally butchered. But yeah, they are just, I don't know, I don't think they're any too, I don't know, like, Joker is the most iconic villain of all time, in my eyes. I think the only person that is on his level is Darth Vader, and that is the only person in the world. I'm talking about popularity-wise that would be as iconic as the Joker. Their stories that they have had are amazeballs. And yeah, if you don't believe me, just read a bunch of Joker versus Batman stories. I mean, look, Scott Snyder's freaking Endgame series was amazing. Just read it. They're great.
Next question.
When did you start reading comic books? Well, I don't know, really. I mean, I want to say I probably started reading comic books during my 5-year relationship because my girlfriend at that time was like, she introduced me to buying like the actual like paperback comics, like the ones you would buy on a weekly basis. We would go to like half-price bookstores and just pick up a bunch of different issues. I think she got me some issues for my birthday or something like that. For some reason, she bought me comics, and I was just like, oh, I never really thought about buying just like single-issue comics and stuff. I don't know if I read like graphic novels at the time. I really don't know, or I don't really remember. I want to say I might have, but I could be wrong. But yeah, so I've always been into comics, like Batman, Superman, all that kind of stuff, but that was all more like watching the cartoons and stuff, and the movies, but I didn't really start reading comics until, man, when was that? I was like, maybe like, probably like early 20s, like 21, 20 maybe. I don't really remember.
Next question.
What do you think of the Ultimate Edition of Batman and Superman? Well, I'm pretty sure this question was referring to the trailer that had been released a few weeks back when I said I was going to make this video. Sorry, it's late. But I have since seen the actual Ultimate Edition, and I have to say, the 30 minutes extra footage was not really anything special, but the freaking special features on this are amazing. And I know I use that word all the time, especially in this video, but if you haven't bought the Ultimate Edition, watch those special features, because man, they do like, I'm talking about like 15 to 20 minute videos. There are a few like 7-minute videos, but a majority of them are like 15 to 20 minutes about like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Lex Luthor, freaking, there's so much like history and badass like perspectives on the characters in those special features that I was blown away. Like, I cared more about those special features than I did the extra 30 minutes. But I will say, if you know, you are somebody that disliked the Batman v Superman movie, then the extra 30 minutes is not going to change your mind at all. Like I said, it's nothing too big. It does just dive a little bit more into like Lois Lane's character, Lex's character, and the Senator's character gets a little bit more stuff. And there's like an extra little like fight scenes and stuff like that, but nothing too crazy. Next question. Would you rather have Jay Garrick costume or the Flash or Zoom? Personally, I don't know. I mean, I think I would look better in red, you know, so I'll probably have to have the Flash's costume. Although Zoom's costume is pretty badass. I'm not a fan of the new Jay Garrick costume. I mean, it's cool, it's more modern, but you guys know how I feel about the whole Jay Garrick thing. But no, I think the Flash's costume is pretty awesome. If I could get it in a brighter red, then yeah, I would totally go with the Flash.
Next question.
What is your least favorite DC superhero? This is the hardest question out of all of these questions. So Death in a Bottle, congrats to you for giving me this question, because it is freaking hard. Like, I want to say, I don't know if Death, if you asked me this in a stream one time, but I feel like somebody asked me this before, and I did not have an answer. When I really think about it, I don't know if there is a DC superhero that I dislike. Like, I'm talking about that I'm like, oh, fuck that character. I don't really know if there is something like that, because if I was watching the Justice League Unlimited cartoon, and there were like some weird superheroes in there. I mean, there is a cowboy superhero, and I was like, that guy's cool! I probably thought that character was cool because I'm from Texas, and I basically grew up watching westerns, and cowboys are just awesome. But there's not really any characters that I really dislike. I mean, I guess I'm not too fond of Elongated Man, just because, you know, he's just like, alright, you're just basically Reed Richards from Fantastic Four. But I don't know, there's not really... I don't hate him or anything, but, you know, I could never see him in anything again, and I guess I'd be fine with it. But I don't think I dislike him, so I'm just like, eh. Although if this was Marvel, I just went into my comic shop recently and noticed that they made a Gwenpool comic, and I think that is the stupidest character they could ever come up with. Now look. Spider-Gwen, totally badass. She makes sense. She's in the Spider-Man universe. I know it's an alternate universe and kind of shit like that. But Spider-Gwen is cool. I own Spider-Gwen comics because I like the story. But Gwenpool, what the fuck? Is there freaking like a world where everybody is Gwen Stacy? Like, how do you even populate if there's nothing but Gwen Stacy's everywhere? Like, I don't get it. I mean, I'm assuming there's like some kind of universe where Gwen Stacy is like the sun and she just, everything revolves around her. I don't get it, and I don't know why, and it just looks kind of stupid. Marvel, I know you want your own Harley Quinn because you want to do the whole Harley Quinn and Deadpool thing, but you can't, okay? You already stole Deadpool. Well, you know, Deadpool's a ripoff of Deathstroke. Freaking back off, and Gwenpool's stupid.
Next question.
Since Barry saved his mom, did it affect him meeting Cara? You would think so because, well, he met Cara while he was the Flash, and he's no longer going to be the Flash after what he just did. So you would be like, oh, there's no way they met. But since Cara is in another universe, it is possible that she will remember meeting the Flash, but he won't remember meeting her. So it could be something like that, because maybe the whole being on different universes, it only changes that universe's timeline. I don't really know. We'll see what they do.
Next question.
If you were a villain, how would you take over the world? Well, personally, I don't know if I would be a villain, but I might live long enough to see myself become one. Like I said, I don't know if I would be a villain. I'd be more of an anti-hero, because like I say this in the streams all the time when I get asked, what powers would you get? I would try to get Superman's powers. If I could have all, like, unlimited powers, well, not unlimited powers, but I got to take powers from a character, I would just take Superman's. Freaking indestructible, laser eyes, really fast speed, super strength, bunch of other shit that they probably haven't revealed to us, but like I'm saying, you could take over the world as Superman, and I just learned this recently when I read Injustice Year 1, like, holy shit. That story is amazing. If you guys haven't read Injustice, kind of knew it was a comic book, but I never just really thought about reading it. But it was fucking great. It is so great. And highly recommend you guys picking that up and reading it. But I feel like if I had Superman's powers, I might be like the Superman in Injustice, because it's this weird dynamic, which you could say that Superman is a villain. So maybe read Injustice, and that more than likely that's what I would become, because something happens to Superman where he's just like, oh shit, and he wants to police the world to make sure nobody dies, like, ever. And it's crazy. And you should check it out. And that's probably what I would be. So I would grow into becoming a villain by trying to be good, which is crazy. Weird. Next question! One question, Juice. Should I start watching Doctor Who? Some people told me to start, but I can't decide. Yes! Oh my gosh! 100 billion, trillion, gazillion, fillion times. Yes! Watch Doctor Who. Now, I will say, to build your love for Doctor Who, you should start in year 2005. That's when the new series started back up, because if you don't know, Doctor Who goes all the way back to the 60s or 70s. I don't know. It's really old. It's been around for 50 years. But they restarted the whole show back up in 2005, and, you know, it starts with the 9th Doctor, which is Christopher Eccleston, and it's really good. Give the show some time. The freaking effects are really bad in, you know, the first few episodes, but it gets better. But what you watch Doctor Who for is the damn storylines, and oh my gosh, it is so great. And just, if you're the kind of person that loves to really think and be like, oh shit, and then what if it leads to this, and theories, and blah, 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 Doctor Who is the show for you. Next question! How did you get into comics? P.S. I love your videos so fucking much. Heart, 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 heart. Well, I've kind of already answered this question, but I wanted to read that because I loved your ending right there. That was pretty awesome. Next question.